Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, everyone. Episode 316 of Games My Mom Found. I'm Mike Albertin, and who's metaphor for depression with me tonight?
Hi, I'm Phoebe Stanton, and I wish if I fused with my darker half, my hair had turned pink.
That would be cool, huh?
God, that would have been amazing.
So, we are here to talk about Celeste. Developed by Maddie Makes Games, published by Maddie Makes Games, and came out in 2018. God,
It's really been 6 years, huh?
it doesn't feel that old.
No, it does not.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. That's all I feel. So I've never played this game before until last week. I only knew about this. Well, I knew about this game because I live on the internet. But also, a friend of mine, I went to his apartment once, and he was showing me some games on the Switch, and he pulled this up. He's like, "Hey, look at this game." And this is pre-COVID. This is probably was 2018 or 2019, to be honest. I can't remember. I know where I was working. I know where he lived, but I can't remember the years exactly. But it wasn't 2017. I can tell you that much now. And he showed me this game, and I remember, okay, this is kind of cool, but I don't like Twitch platformers. Especially not then, especially not now. This is not my style of game. I'm not, I tried playing Super Meat Boy once again on Steam Deck. Hey, I'll play Super Meat Boy. I have a Steam Deck now. This could be fun. I played it for 5 minutes. I'm like, nope, fuck this game.
I feel a butt coming along. It's like,
you already know my opinion.
I really liked this one.
I did, yes. This, for some reason, really worked for me, even without a system. But we'll get more on that. What is your history with this game?
I got this game around the time that it came out, played through it, 100%ed it. My background on my Xbox actually is the end of level art where Maddie is floating in space holding the heart. That is some of my favorite art in a video game, so I decided to just make that my background. And then my history with Maddie herself is a lot bigger because it turned out that she's been making games since 2004. She made the Jumper games, which I've never played, but I've heard of. She made a game on Armor Games called Money Seas, which is one of my favorite Flash games of all time. And it's really funny because if you play Money Seas, you can see a lot of the mechanics of that game get ported to Celeste. I've played the Pico 8 version of Celeste when it was on Newgrounds and some other sites before that game.
Newgrounds.
Yeah, right. It's still around.
Yeah, I only used it for one very little stuff.
But yeah, I played the Pico 8 version, which I'm so glad is incorporated into the game here, if you can find it. And I've never played Towerfall, but I did know somebody who owned an Ouya, and that's one of the 3 reasons why any person should ever own an Ouya.
One of the other reasons Ouya was easy to emulate back then, or to put ROMs on it, that was one thing good about Ouya. You could emulate right without a PC, right on your TV.
I forgot that was a perfect emulation box.
It's the only reason why I wanted one. I never bought it, but it was why I wanted one. Hell, back in 2010, 2011, I had a computer hooked up to my TV just for ROMs. It was a shitty computer I got, didn't pay that much, and I just had it set up just to play Nintendo ROMs. Literally. That's all it was there for.
And yeah, since this game came out, Maddie has joined the Super Mario ROM hacking community. She has made a Nintendo 64 style Celeste sequel spin-off type thing. And we're getting a new game by her called Earthblade, which I'm super excited for. So I've secretly been following this person for a good amount of my life and just never really noticed.
Oh, that is cool. I didn't know anything about her until this, I didn't until really just our conversation now. I know a little bit about this game from beforehand. I knew a little bit about what this game with the subtext was, but that's it beforehand. This was a pretty, unaltered experience for me playing through this game.
So, how many of the strawberries did you get?
3 or 4. They're optional.
I'm just speedrunning this and I have 75 on chapter 6, man. What?
Optional.
They're not optional. You need them to get the true ending. You need to make that pie, Mike.
You heard of YouTube? I actually didn't watch True Ending. This is not a game I was playing for the story exactly. I know that's some evil words right there. And there's a good story here. I was just playing for the gameplay.
Yeah, spoilers to everybody. We're going to be talking a lot about depression, anxiety, GLBT issues. We're going to have a fun time today.
Is there suicide mentioned in this too, I think? There's
I
one
want to
point.
say at one point it gets brought up, but it's probably more along the lines of because let's think about how this came out. When Celeste came out, the real world Maddie wasn't going by Maddie at that point, but they were probably going through some stuff, which is reflected in the game. This game, for lack of a better term, is an autobiography.
Yeah, you can feel it when you know like the context of it and you know about her.
And yeah, I was gonna say the raw emotion that goes into this game with all the different characters and how many little details you can notice, like replaying it right before recording. I've never paid attention before to the actual frame of each individual character's speech bubble, but they are all completely different and reflect something. Like Theo's has a plaid background. Granny's the border of her speech bubble is made out of twig. But the two big ones are Madeline, and the game calls her Part of Me, but everybody in the fandom calls her Badeline because it's
Battleline is
perfect.
fine.
Badeline's great. Madeline's speech bubble looks like a dulled stone with cracks in it, while Badeline's looks like a pure reflective mirror. And I think that's a brilliant stylistic choice for what's going on with their characters.
That's 100% fair. I mean, because you even have a mirror, and the whole idea is that Battleline is just part of you. Also, there's a small scene I don't remember, but I was watching YouTube before this. That something about there's a picture of the ex talking to you at one point with green hair, so it shows that like they broke up or something. You know, she had a breakup at some point right before this happens.
They don't really imply why they broke up, but it could have been for a number of reasons, including Madeline hiding who she is from her significant other. The anxiety was too much. There are many different factors that could have been taken into play, which sadly are real world factors that do cause real world breakups.
Well, I mean, I think to be fair, a lot of breakups just need to happen. People date people they shouldn't date, but that's neither.
Oh yeah.
I have too many friends that I've seen in bad relationships. So I'm very opinionated about that at times for people. If your current spouse is treating you like shit all the time, and it's time to get a new spouse or a new partner, I should say.
Yeah.
Or an example, if you're getting mad at your spouse or your partner while playing Final Fantasy 11 because they won't listen to you and look up YouTube because you don't remember what to do, they're probably not a good partner. So
YouTube is a godsend. Just YouTube everything.
I play most games, but and also Maddie is trans, correct now?
Yes. So when this game initially released, there were 8 chapters. There's the 7 that you initially play through, and then if you get all of the hearts, or a good amount of them, I think, which is really hard. But funny enough, while speedrunning this, I grabbed 3 of them. I just memorized where they were, the first 3 worlds. Crystal hearts, which is hilarious. You unlock a door to the 8th world, which is called the Core, which is the heart of the mountain itself. It takes place about a year after the initial points of the game, and it's just Madeline trying to learn what this mountain actually is with Badeline's help now that they've reconciled and they're one purified person in a way. Like, you can't ever really get rid of your darkness, but you can, if you can deal with your darkness or your anxiety properly and see it as a positive for whatever reason instead of a negative. Like, that's kind of the moral of the story here is, spoilers, is there's never 100% getting rid of something. Your depression might come back, your gender dysphoria might come back. But what you do with that and how you deal with it is the most important factor. But then about a year or 2 later, Maddie released a farewell chapter, a free patch that was chapter 9, and it is some of the hardest platforming challenges I've ever seen in a video game.
That's what I heard. I did not mess with it, by the way.
I've got to be honest. Non-assist mode, I did every B-side, C-side, tape, etc., in this game. I assist moded farewell back in the day. That thing asks you to do some speedrun tech in it, like demo dashes and stuff, and that is not happening. No, thank you. So, since I'm assuming you didn't play the farewell chapter.
No, I saw a little bit of it, and I'm going to watch it as we talk later, but no, I have not.
Should we skip to the whole learning Madeline is transgender thing, or should we go through the story as it happens. Because it's really just the final frame of the game at the end of the chapter. You know how every level has that end of level artwork.
Yes. Is that when she's hugging her battle line?
No, it's her in front of a computer back at her actual house. And you can see on the computer, I want to say there's a rainbow flag and there's a trans pride flag. But there's also a pill bottle or two. So that's more than likely spironolactone and estradiol.
That's an interesting little detail. I saw the flags, or the flags were pointed out to me, I should say, by a YouTuber. I forgot her name, but she makes good videos. But, okay, I did not... That's cool. See, there's just so much to this game. Like, we haven't even really talked about the gameplay or about the game, but this is the game. Like, the whole... And I knew that going in. Like, I knew a little bit about this, like, the anxiety and depression thing. I did not realize everything about that it's kind of a... Is allegory the right word? Trans allegory?
Say so. Or, at the very least, there's allegories to gender dysphoria, to anxiety, to depression. There's a whole... I feel like everybody, even if they didn't solidify it with the farewell chapter, everybody was seeing something different in the story of this game because it is such a common story. Everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but more than likely everybody is going through something. And that's what the story is. It is Madeline going through this thing, and she feels like she has to climb to the top of this mountain to prove to herself that she can do it, because if she can do that, she can do anything.
That's a very good way to put it. And I mean, that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, a whole metaphor to what people deal with. I mean, in my opinion, I think everyone deals with some form of mental illness, but then again, maybe some people are fortunate enough not. I mean, I deal with anxiety and depression. Mostly, I mean, I realized my anxiety actually from this podcast. I was recording an episode, Shadow of Rome, and I wasn't sure if person that was with me was going to be able to make it, and we didn't have any other guests. It was just me and that gentleman, and I'm like, what am I going to do if he does? I don't want to do a solo episode. And I went through, and that's when I actually got anxiety meds. My wife's like, you need to get, like, you shouldn't be this upset over this. Like, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, yes, it is. So, and they help. You know, I've noticed a change in the way I do things, and the way that I'm able to conduct myself, and I learned to be better at it because I was able to recognize that it was there. I take a low dose of a med that helps me, but really I think it was me learning to accept it and use it in its good ways.
That's what Celeste does, is, again, it shows you just because you can't get rid of doesn't mean it necessarily, like, a lot of these things, a lot of people will say is a bad thing. Oh my God, how could you gotta get rid of depression stuff? That's,
I mean,
never 100% gonna happen, but what you can do with it, turn that negative into a positive. Always try to see the silver lining of things. Maybe X, but then because of X, Y.
I thought because of X, we have free speech, right?
Oh my God.
But
you smart ass.
Pun intended. So, I lost my track. Like, damn it. Like, depression is one of those things that I think a lot of people deal with, but, like, and there's nothing good about depression, but you can't change it. I mean, if you have it, but that's why medication can really help, and also just learning what are the signs and what combats it. Like, for me, a big thing with my life that I have found works well for me to stay focused and to always is this podcast, because I always have new games to play. I always have new stuff to work on. People are like, how do you do so much content? I ask myself that question too, but it honestly helps me to always have something to do. So, like, when I'm in those moods where I'm like, I'm upset, I'm depressed, like, oh, I got to work on this. And it keeps me grounded at times and productive and happy where I might have not been, where I wasn't before at times. So it's made a huge difference in my life, this show.
And I completely understand that. You know, if I get in a really bad mood, sometimes I'll just completely wallow in it and it'll build up and build up. But sometimes I try to diffuse it and put that negative energy into something like, okay, I am in a negative mood. Oh my God, this house is disgusting. Let's vacuum. Or, oh my God, I have this giant stack of movies that I buy that I don't actually watch. Let's get through 2 of them and, you know, start getting through a backlog. And I will use that negative energy, point it at something in my life and go, okay, now what are we doing to fix that?
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. I mean, it helped. And like I was playing through Celeste, because the whole idea of Celeste, she's trying to climb this mountain, and the mountain is just a ton of platform puzzles. But each chapter really even just talks about the process.
Yeah.
And like there's even one point in this game, I think it's midway through, where you fall down the mountain.
It
You have to
is
climb
in
back
Chapter
up.
6, Battle Line, messes with your plans while you're hanging out with best boy Theo,
Hey.
who is also going through his own stuff. Like, that's what I love, is that this mountain is some weird magical force that brings out that deeper part of yourself, even the parts that you don't know. Like, what is Theo? Theo is this guy who's attached to his phone. He has an Instapics account, which, by the way, that is real. If you go to Instagram and go look up Theo,
Yeah, he has an account.
like all of the like even months before this game came out, there were different photos building up a lore to this game, and even post game launch, more photos were being added, like adding an epilogue to the game. But what is his big thing? He is an Instagram influencer. His whole thing is being online and trying to get the next big thing going, and he succeeds in it. Clearly, he has the money from doing this to go from Seattle to Canada to climb Mount Celeste. And look what happened. Once he reaches the temple, he gets stuck in a crystal, and all these eyes are looking at him. And it's this physical action of Instagram is his cage, and he thinks he needs to be in the cage, and he needs all the eyes staring at him because that's what gets him the thrill or the money or, his mission in life. And look what happened.
I did not realize that was a metaphor for that.
Oh, everybody. And it's really interesting because we only see Theo, Mr. Oshiro, who is a ghost, and Madeline go through their thing. And Granny's living on the mountain, just super happy. And we never really see what her thing is, or what part of her is on the mountain until Farewell. Because, jumping around, spoilers, Farewell is a dream that Madeline is having because it's like another year later and Granny has passed away and Madeline missed the funeral.
That is interesting.
And so, through the platforming challenges of that chapter, this final post-launch repatch chapter, Madeline is going after the bluebird that we constantly see that tells you in the tutorial how to climb, that tells you in the tutorial how to dash, because she theorizes that that is the part of Granny that was manifested by the mountain.
Oh, okay. Huh, that's
and
cool.
It also hints, or they straight up say it in Farewell, that Granny and Theo's grandfather, the professional photographer, knew each other. So this is kind of like a family lineage thing to Leo as well.
That's really cool. See, there's so much to this little game that's just a high-speed platform on the outside. I mean, it's really a two-button game. You can jump and you can dash.
And you can climb.
That's it.
And you can climb.
Oh, yeah, you can climb. You're right. I forgot about that, even though I do it all the damn time. But there's not a whole lot to it. Like, there's only a few buttons, and you don't get... I mean, they add new things throughout the game, but it's really, like, that's the concept.
What they do with just those three mechanics is amazing. The air dash bubbles, the platforms that move when you dash, so you can dash in the direction that they're going to move, and they go at hyperspeed, and then you jump off of them. And there's so many little things that they just keep adding on. They feel so intuitive.
Yeah, and the game, like, it changes things up enough, and it really follows a concept that Mario does, or perfected, or introduced, one of those words, whatever words we want to use here, where, like, it makes you do a thing, and then it makes you do a thing again with a few more challenges, and you got to do the same thing you just learned with a few more challenges, and it increases that, so it's teaching you how to play, and how to use these new mechanics, and it's not, like, new moves or anything, it's just a new thing in the world, like you're being chased by an eyeball creature at one point. Or blocks that move when you dash. Like, the game is constantly following that video game logic of, we're going to have you do it once easier, and we're going to just teach you how to do it better and make it harder. And it works well. Like, I played a majority of this game without assist mode. I only put on assist when I felt I really needed it. There was one dash where I just could not get the timing down early on, or not early on, midway through the game, and then near the end, I had assist one on a few times. There were some really hard parts.
And I love that I know a lot of people will complain about games having assist mode or an easy mode. Oh my god, Dark Souls getting an easy mode. But this game having an assist mode not only makes sense, but it adds to the theming of the story itself. Go at your own pace.
100%. And I think that's what makes it so perfect too, is that it is like that. I mean, I think assist modes are wonderful in general because it opens. I don't know if I would have finished this game without assist mode. I probably would have just banged my head against it enough times where I would have made it work eventually, but definitely would have been angrier, and my opinion would be worse. But the fact that it was there, like I waited a bit because I wanted to have enough experience before I used it. But also, this game, the levels usually don't feel too long between checkpoints. Usually, there are certain parts where it is a little like, okay, this is a bit you're making me do. Near the end, there's a mountain part you have to climb very close to the end of the game that I had to just put assist mode and dash all the way up because I was like, this is too much.
It's got 30 checkpoints on it.
Yeah, they're not really checkpoints, are they?
Each time you hit one of those flags that says 30, 29, 28, those are individual checkpoints.
Oh, see, that was the issue. I didn't hit some of the flags. I didn't realize that. No wonder I was having so many issues. Gotta learn new things about games every day I play. Every time we talk about them. Because I tried to do it the legit way, and then I just dashed up the whole mountain instead. But I tried not to have assist mode on too often, and even when I did have it on for like the extra dash, I would only use like one extra dash if I couldn't make it. I would try to do it the way the game intended me to. There was a couple points where I'm like, I just need one more dash. I don't have.
No, I understand. I mean,
and I try not to put invincibility on except for the points when I really needed it. I tried not to use it. I usually was pretty good about not using it.
Well, the amount of assist mode options that they give you, it's only like 5 options, but they're so brilliant. Dump down the game speed so you can have more of a reaction time. Give yourself more dashes, which goes to either 2 or infinite. Give yourself invincibility. Give yourself infinite stamina so you can climb for as long as you want. But the best one is dash assist, because that makes it where if you hold X, the game pauses and an arrow shows up, and now you can like really figure out what direction you're going in. You're not going to have any like Joy-Con slip or anything like that, and you can get those pixel perfect movements going on.
I did have a hard time with getting myself propelled from blocks like you're supposed to with the jump. I never was good at that.
Oh god.
I don't know why, but that was something I suffered with.
You should see some of the tech that they try to get you to do for stuff like the seasides, because those are you have to, god, it's so silly. If you dash straight up and you're 1 pixel away from a wall at any point on the perfect vertical dash upward, if you then hit jump, you do a kick off the wall.
Oh.
And there's stuff like that constantly in the end game.
So where's an animal to teach me that trick?
No, there are no green monkeys blue monkeys or green ostriches here. I'm sorry. I can't remember their names. One of them's like Electoons or something, but that's the thing from Rayman.
I don't know.
I used to know
I just had to make the joke because that's what it made me think of. But no, I mean, the game, has some great elements to it, and it has some. I mean, like the challenge is there for the people who want it, for the people who like Twitch platformers like this. It's all there for you. But for someone who hates them, who will not play them, I loved this game. Spoiler alert! And I was surprised. I beat this game in a couple days. I just couldn't put it down. Well, that and the schedule told me to finish up and get to the next game. But I was having a blast. Even with the challenge, I would laugh. I try to do it when I die in games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. I try to laugh because that's better than screaming.
No, I understand.
And
I agree with you.
Except I just can't play. I can't play Souls games around my wife. I play this around my wife. I wasn't that, but Souls games I can't. Because even if I laugh or say something, I'll get irritated, and then I just can't do it. I have to play by myself. When I played Bloodborne, I played in the basement while she was upstairs watching TV because I'm like, I can't have you near me because I'm gonna make noises and you might make a comment or make a face and I'm gonna be like, I'm like, nope, I gotta be alone.
That's
in my own little dungeon.
That's great.
It's just Souls game. This game didn't bother me at all. There was no even in the boss fight when you fight Battle Line, which is one of the hardest parts for me. That fight goes on for a while. I got good at it. I learned what to do.
15 screens.
It's intense. It's a long freaking fight, but luckily, you can see what works and what doesn't work. If you do the same things in the right pattern, everything will work just fine. You just have to not jump into her laser beam 4 times in a row like I might have done in the exact same jump. But I got good at it. After a while, I got the hang of her boss fight. I mean, also all the boss fights in this game are awesome for what they are.
We really only have 2. You have Battle Line. Well, you have Battle Line and you have Mr. Oshiro, which is more of a chase sequence.
And I still consider it a boss fight though, because you're still having an antagonist, where in this game you don't really have an antagonist or even enemy in
Yeah.
that sense, in the gaming sense. And by the way, that thing is more than 15 screens. I'm pretty sure. I'm not counting, but I've been paying attention. This has got to be more than 15.
It's a lot. It is insane how many there are.
Yeah. But it really impressed me with the whole battle line stuff, like how long, and then when you do finally fuse with her and you get the extra dash and your hair changes colors again.
I love that.
I appreciate
Love
that a
that
lot.
so much. I love the pink fuchsia hair that's going on there.
Same. I also learned when I first saw Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That's the movie that introduced me. Oh, I really like women with dyed hair. And then I actually dated my own version of Ramona Flowers at one point in my life.
Oh
Didn't
my
end well,
God.
but she also had evil exes who wanted to kill me.
Out. I love Scott Pilgrim, man.
I always make that joke too because my ex had people who wanted to kick my ass for no reason because they were bad people, and so it's just kind of funny to me too. And she dyed her hair green, pink while we were together. So, and no,
Yeah, like
she never saw Scott Pilgrim.
I've never dyed my hair with Scott Pilgrim, and this game makes me want to do it, along with many other reasons.
Tiff does it sometimes. She'll dye her hair. She dyed her hair like red, mostly red. She dyes her hair red a lot, which I like a lot. So
Yeah, probably go with purple and see what happens, because I'm crazy.
purple would be cool. I don't know if it'd be accepted at your plantation, but yeah.
Oh
Cool.
my God! Wow!
I've been waiting for that joke. So that's what that place reminds me of. Okay.
I thank God that we don't live in the world of Severance, or like the world of that one episode of Rick and Morty where they make their sleep selves work, because if my place of employment got those two pieces of technology, we would just be 24-hour workers.
Yeah. You would be. You just never leave. There might not be work to be done, but you'll never leave. Okay.
Mm. God help us.
Where do I go from here? All right. But like, I mean, this game changed a lot. The scenery changes each chapter to really fit what the game is trying to tell you, and it just works so well. And you don't have to do the super hard stuff in this game. You don't have to fuck around and get all the strawberries. You don't have to do the crystal hearts. I mean, it's there. Like, for me, as a guy who just anything optional in a game like this, I skip. I won't do a single optional thing because it's not me, because it's too hard.
And think about how big these levels are and the fact that there is no map.
I do like my map.
Normally,
Phoebe
I
knows
also like
that.
maps, but here I think it worked because it allows you to learn more of the game or find Theo, because he's in a lot of different levels and you don't really notice at points. Like, he is in level 2 above you near the end of the level, and you can get to him and talk to him. Like, he is
Okay.
actually in every single level up to a point.
Oh, I know I saw him off and on, but I just did the main path. I didn't grab any of the B-side tapes or any of those tapes. I did none of that. I didn't even see them. I did get a few strawberries, and I would see strawberries, but then I avoided them later on. I'm like, I just don't care. It's optional. I mean, that's how I play Mario games too. The very few times when I play a Mario game, I'm the same way. I don't do optional stuff usually. Again, I don't like platformers. This is not my style of game at all. Anyone who listens to podcasts.
Game. Anything that has multiple layers worth of story, or I try to play as many games as I can. And
You play a lot of games.
And try to play something new and interesting. Like, that's why I love this game, is because it is just, like you said earlier, a 3-button platformer, but it has such a deep lore that you can really look into. And there's a lot of hidden things that are going on here. Like, the mountain is alive. It has a heart that you can find in the core level. But, Theo at one point in the first level, if you find him, because he's in a side room, talks about how, well, this is an abandoned city. What happened here? And it's like, oh, I heard some type of mega corporation wanted to build a city for whatever reason. It's like, well, why would you want to build a city on the side of a derelict, icy mountain? Unless they knew that, magic BS was going down.
I mean, why would you want to buy Greenland? But hey, people have things. Sorry, what can you say?
Oh my god. We can't go 5 minutes.
No, we cannot.
But then it's like, well, okay, so they abandoned it, and it's supposedly a government conspiracy or government cover-up. And it probably was, because if every single person who enters the mountain has some type of physical reality bend around them that's based off of their inner turmoil, that's thousands of people all at the same time having crazy shit spawn around them. I would leave.
Are you sure? I'm not so sure. You would stick around. Like, this is pretty interesting.
Oh, you know what? I would stick around. 1, because the rent's going to go down. 2, because I love the supernatural. So what's the worst that could happen?
Maybe, are you telling me you would live in a shitty place just so the rent was cheap? I don't.
I'm saying that I've always wanted to go to Centralia, Pennsylvania. And if they decided to put a new house smack dab in the middle of there, I would absolutely live smack dab in the real world Silent Hill.
Just leave the gas mask on every day.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Oh god, I forget. Yeah, I know that place is closed off now. You can't go there.
Ah, damn it.
Well, because it's not safe.
Maybe I'll find a way to get into the basement of Danvers Mental Hospital and live down there.
I'm sure people have go into that town because I follow a few groups on Facebook about abandoned Minnesota and stuff, and I can guarantee you there's people in Pennsylvania that go in that place.
Oh,
Guarantee you.
There's a Slenderverse series that actually goes there, supposedly at one point to film some scenes.
People do that stuff all the time. It's just you just got to not get caught. That's all. I mean, it's not like there's people looking for you, but still, you got to not, be careful to a degree. But we all do dumb things.
Yeah, some people live on the side of a mountain in an ancient temple. That's actually a real thing that people do.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it.
Like the temple that we see where Theo gets trapped in the crystal. Stuff like that still exists. There are monks who still live there. People travel there and become new monks on the side of mountains with
Dr. Strange
instant drops. It's crazy.
I could not do that. But hey, if people find inner peace by living like that, more power to them. I unfortunately am the guy who would have cybernetic eyes, and I don't. And I say that all the time, and I mean it completely. Especially, I haven't. It would be nice to replace this organic eye with a cybernetic eye, because I would love the ability to just take pictures whenever I want to, just by snapping my eyes. Because there's times when I see things like, oh, I wish I could post that, but I can't because I don't. My eye is not a camera. But I'm one of those.
Yeah, but then you get some
weirdos.
Then you would get some random gunk inside of your eye, and it would short circuit it.
But you can repair it like a machine. You can repair most machines.
It's
Can't
attached to your
repair
brain.
stuff
I don't think
that
you
much.
want to short circuit your brain, Mike.
We can make that cybernetic too. I'll be a cyborg. If we had the technology, I would 100% do it. I mean, I would not be the first guinea pig, absolutely not. But if it got to a point where it was like a normal thing, which is not, 100% would have done it. I'd have cybernetic hands and all sorts of stuff if I could. I'm that kind of, I don't know. I have gave this a lot of thought, by the way, in case you're wondering. So, I don't know, just one of those things. But no, Celeste really makes you look into yourself. And I kept thinking about that while I was playing this game, how much just for me, I saw the depression and anxiety angle that they were going for because that's some of the things that I deal with. So my brain went there, which is what Celeste is all about. What do you see, because it depends on the person.
Yeah, and everybody's going to see something different. And it probably doesn't help that I saw stuff that was more in line with what I'm not going to say was the intended story, because I won't say that there is an intended way to see what's going on until the farewell chapter came out. But as a transgender woman with depression, gender dysphoria, Asperger's, this game hits really, really close to home. And there's a scene in the game where there's 2 parts in the game, actually, where Theo teaches Madeline, hey, close your eyes, imagine a feather, breathe in, breathe out, and just imagine the feather floating up and down. That works. That is a real technique.
I actually, after beating this game, I did it a couple times. I was stressing out about something, and it worked. I also did it in the game. Even though I know you're just pressing A or whatever you have to do, I was breathing in too, just to calm myself because the game was tense.
Yeah, and it's great.
And I know it's a real thing in therapy too, people that they teach people, and it's something I'm going to try to do more of because, I know when I've gotten stressed out, and me and you chat all the time, you're like, just breathe, and you're right. You have said that to me multiple times before when I started.
Now you just scream, Mike, they got the feather.
You can, yes. But I mean, for some people, this might have been an awakening for them not realizing things, or this might have helped, I would not be surprised if this helped people realize certain mental condition that they have. I mean, just because it makes you think about stuff where a lot of our society teaches us not to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many
times.
Push
it down, man up. Blah, blah, blah,
I never.
blah.
I have used the phrase when I was younger, man up. I will never use it now. I was dumber. But I don't use it. I use it as a joke. The only time I use it is when I'm trying to make a joke. But I don't it's a stupid thing. I'm never with my son. I'm never do that to my son. I'm very try to not make any dumb comments like that to him in anything. Like I don't want that for him. Like he doesn't need that. So I mean, and you know, this is a game. I feel like for a lot of people, you're going to recognize things that you don't realize. I mean, I know I deal with anxiety. I know I deal with depression. I'm not unaware. You know, it's my depression's not too bad. It's mostly under control. I'm busy enough that I don't think about it usually. But like anxiety, I deal with. Like I mean, I have the worry, like, oh, am I going to get this editing done in time? Like you have never missed an episode for 318 weeks. I think you're okay, you know. But like, it's still that fear in there sometimes, you know, like that I'm going to be behind, even though like it's not going to happen. I'm so consistent with what I do and have such a base. Like I don't have anything to worry about. Like I'll worry about my job. Like, oh, am I going to get this done in time? Like Mike, you do just fine. Like don't worry about it. It's just human nature.
God, I hope you don't have imposter syndrome. That would fucking suck.
There were a few times, very, very, very seldom, and I want all those varies, where I got like that, but I recognized what it was immediately. I'm like, you're fine. It was with the podcast. Like, oh, do people like what I'm doing? Like, I have how many friends because of this show? So, people like what I'm doing.
Yeah, I have imposter syndrome all the time with stuff. Like, am I really, should I be doing a podcast? Should I
You should. You make a really good show, by the way,
writing?
Phoebe.
Should I be doing X, Y, Z? And
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
really
I will
funny
always tell
because
you.
some of these things actively push the darkness down, but then it brings a separate darkness up.
But Phoebe, do you smell?
Do I
like
what?
Riku? You smell the darkness like Riku does.
Oh my god, yeah, I have so many bugs inside of me, Mike, it's not even funny.
A joke for very few people, right?
Yeah, just call me Oogie Boogie.
I hate Oogie Boogie. So I'm watching chapter 9 right now.
This is Halloween.
While we're talking.
This is
and
what happens when Mike and I are alone.
Yeah. And I'm watching part of the chapter where you have you have to control the lava or something. My god, am I happy I didn't mess with this. I would not have liked this.
Oh my god, it is such a pain in the ass.
Like I don't do this in game. Like Mario games are also notorious for this, where they'll have like a super hard level or super hard levels. I usually quit them when the credits roll. I don't keep playing.
See, in here it's part of the story.
Yeah, but the credits rolled, so the game got uninstalled.
I don't blame you.
I was done. I mean, I would have done it had I not needed to go find 4 hearts. I didn't have any hearts, and I was like, I don't want to Google where they are, watch a YouTube how to get them. Like, I don't care enough. I'm just going to be done and move on.
See, and like I said, I got the first 3 crystal hearts, the ones that are in the base game. I just kind of remembered them. I was like, okay, there's something up this waterfall inside of the Celestial Resort. Okay, there's something behind this wall. And the best one is so the first level, the Forgotten City has, or the Abandoned City has a room in the very top left corner right before you end the level, and it's a computer screen with flashing colors and a bunch of birds, one of each color that fly in a different direction. And you have to dash in the directions of the colored birds in the order that the computer screen tells you. Like, it is a full-blown cheat code style input.
Okay, that's impressive.
And
There's also red hearts to get in this game too, or something on B-side?
Yeah. Those should be in the B-sides, which you get from the tapes. So
that's why everything looks so much harder all of a sudden. All right.
Yeah. So there's B-sides, which are the tapes. Once you get them, you get an alternate version of the level that's only about 3 screens long. Then there's the C-sides, which are the final challenge of the game. And they suck, because they're like a full 4-minute long single screen endurance input event. And if you screw up, you get teleported back to the very beginning. And I did them all legit. And that's secretly not the final challenge. Like, I say 100% of this game back in the day, but there is a sort of 105% challenge, which are these things called the golden strawberries, which is you have to do the level. And I think it's only on the C-sides, but I might be wrong about that. Somebody can correct me. But you have to do it all in a single run. The very
is this the thing with starfish?
Level.
We have like an umbrella or something?
No. Okay, so the umbrella glide thing is in Farewell. There are jellyfish, and when you pick them up, you can glide. And there's a lot of The jellyfish is one of the hardest things inside of the farewell chapter because it's stuff like when you let go of them, you throw them kind of like how you throw Theo when you let go of
Oh,
the
okay.
and so you're throwing them above a barrier that would kill them, kind of like the eyeball monsters. And
Okay.
then you dash through the barrier yourself, and then you re-catch the jellyfish and you continue the glide, and it's like an entire vertical section of 2 minutes long of just that.
Oh, I
And there are
found one of.
multiple rooms like this. That's why
I
Farewell
can't.
is fun.
See, I would not like that, and I would not have messed with it. Like, that's when games get too. But again, it's optional. Like, she could have been, mean and made it part of the game, and she's like, no, this is just for you. If you want that challenge, it's there for you.
Yeah. And like I said, that's like the first half of Farewell, and the second half of Farewell actually asks you to do speedrun challenges, speedrun techniques perfectly. Like there's a major speedrun tech where if you're in the air, I think you have to be jumping, but I might be wrong because I don't speedrun this game. But if you diagonal downward dash into the ground for a few seconds, your dash speed continues even though your feet are touching ground and you should just be going at normal run speed. It's like a skid. If you jump out of the skid, you get a much farther jump.
See, that's too much for me.
See, and like that's why I recommend people just do Farewell with assist mode. But if you want to use assist mode even from the beginning of the game, that's fine. The game is built for that. That is the plot of the game.
You're still getting the story out of the game. You're still getting and you still have to do the challenges. I mean, assist mode makes it really easy, but you're still able to enjoy the game. Just however you want to. Like, that's what I always say about video games in general, is however you enjoy them, enjoy them. Like, it doesn't matter. If you enjoy the challenge, some people really love challenges. And that's great. That's what they're there for. Like, it just depends on what you want from it. But I feel like for this game, one of the big charm thing is the fact that it does such a good job of conveying the story and able to connect with so many different people about what they're going through. Like that's a special thing. Not all games can do that. Like, and it's very simple about it. It's very subtle and it works. So, it's always been on my mind. It's one of those games that I've always thought about ever since it was introduced to me back at my friend's house. Like, it's been on my mind since that day. I just never got around to it because I'm me.
And I'm so glad you've gone through this. I think everybody should play this game, no matter what age they are or, how good they are at games, because the story is relevant to a vast majority of people, and it might help you.
I agree, 100%.
I have to ask the question, Mike.
Sure, please.
Did you play this with the music on? Oh my god, this is one of the best soundtracks of all time, Mike. Please tell me you didn't.
Not majority of the time, no. You know me. I don't play with...
How am I friends with this man?
I don't play a lot of games with music on. Like, it's just not who I am in general.
I can't wait for you to be forced to play rhythm games. Like, you're gonna have, Guitaru Man or something in the future.
Well, Guitaru Man is
gonna be fucked.
On my list to do. Also, Rez is on my list to do because Dominic is pushing. So,
excellent. Good.
Twice. I don't know. I mean, I just don't.
You should go back and listen to the album.
Music is not really my thing for some weird reason. Like, when I was younger, I was big into music. When I get really depressed or really upset, I still turn to music. But it's not one of my... I don't listen to my music as I really should. And I don't have a good explanation to why I don't. I don't know why. I don't have an explanation to why I play games without music. I mean, a little bit of a reason, but like, it's just not... I just do a lot. Like, I just turn off. I mean, sometimes I think it was on, but I don't know. I played this game at multiple times. I mean, partly because the Steam Deck for me is, constantly, like, I'm in different places. Like, I'm sitting in my car at one point playing this and just wherever, and the music just, I don't know, music just ends up staying off.
See, I would recommend going back and just listening to the soundtrack for this at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if OC Remix has a couple covers of it.
Oh, I'm sure they do. OC Remix has a lot. There's a lot of people that contribute to that. I don't know what episode number, but there's a really good episode about it on Nintendo Main Podcast, friend of the show, Trey. He hosts that show, and they were talking with somebody from OC Remix, and that's all I know about OC Remix was listening to them talk about it.
That's awesome.
But I don't know, music is just not my thing as much anymore, but I still love music. Like, there'll be times like you put on like an old Beatles song or something from, when I was growing up, and like, I love music. And like I've been humming the Figaro theme constantly in my head from FF6 lately. I don't know why. It's just been in my head a lot. So just lives
There
there
are
rent free.
9 covers on OC Remix. That's not enough. You people need to start burning this up. Also, the Figaro theme is awesome.
Yes, that one lives in my head. A few of the do. I can't do it. I can't think. The Kefkas. Yeah, that one's in my head too. I love FF6. What can I say?
I mean, it is the best Final Fantasy.
It is hands down. And I don't take any other opinion.
Or it is one of the best Final Fantasies.
It's the best, no question to me. My personal favorite, and I do think it's the best. 10 is pretty damn good though too. I need to replay 10. I haven't played 10 in years, and I want to, but like sometimes it's just like I wrote up the whole schedule as you saw for the podcast for this year, and I fit in a bunch of RPGs, and that did not get fit in. And I'm just like, man, there's just not enough time for me to play all these games that I want to play.
No, but you did put Shadow Hearts in, and somebody's going to be very excited for that.
I told him I was going to, so I kind of was forced to.
Yeah, and if you don't grab him, he might cry. Hey,
No, he's
TB, we love you.
He was on the first episode of Shadow Hearts. He'll be on the second one.
He had to be on the first one. He would have killed you otherwise. Like his
Shadow Hearts
favorite
are really
game.
good. I like that series a lot, except for the third game. I don't care for the third game as much. The first two are great. So,
God.
anything else we should say about Celeste before we go to questions, comments, and memories? I think
I'm
we're
trying
running
to
out of steam.
think. Like we're rambling a lot, and that's the sad thing is this game is very simple, but what it does is so perfectly done, and what it brings up is so important. So everybody, you should go out and get Celeste. And while you're at it, because I own 2 copies of this game for a specific reason, you should go get the Strawberry Jam collab mod, which is like a whole bunch of fan-made levels. They are all fantastic.
Yeah, I won't be touching that.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up questions, comments, and memories because I got a few. Some people had stuff to say, and that always makes me happy.
I would hope so.
You never know. Sometimes people have nothing to say, but I usually get a decent amount. I watched the entire Blood Super replay from Lucas Adams, one of my favorite games of all time. Gotta ask about the music. Do you have a favorite track from the game? Yeah, Phoebe, do you have a favorite track?
I really like the climb up to the summit. I don't know what the name of the song actually is, but it's high tense and yet it keeps a steady pace. And it is the perfect song for ending that game. Otherwise, the Battle with Battle line also has a really good song because of how like there are voices in the background and they're kind of echoey, and it kind of feels a lot like the music in Braid at some points.
Oh.
So yeah, I would say those 2 songs are my favorites.
Okay. And from Spencer Boyle, I love Celeste. As someone that isn't a huge platformer player, this was probably the hardest game I've ever beaten. The story it tells really hit home with me as someone who lives with an anxiety disorder. It made me feel like I can accomplish hard things both in video games and in real life. It does. I mean, that's one thing that's so impressive about it, too, that we've talked about. And from Zach Harris, a platformer masterpiece. Everything about it is a 10 out of 10. Art direction, characters, level design, music, challenge, and story. The entire message the game tells is heartwarming. Seriously, such an incredible experience.
Thank you, Zach. You're absolutely correct.
And from the gaming... No. Yeah, that's all I got. The other 2 groups I posted didn't have anything to say, unfortunately.
Aww.
So, I know. It's like, all right, I guess I'll give away a code. Let's see what I have next. I'm running out of codes slowly because Fanatical hasn't had as many bundles that I'm forced to buy that I buy that has codes of stuff. Usually it's just choose your own stuff now. This is a Steam code for Arcade Spirits. No idea what this is.
I actually almost did a VA job for this.
Oh.
Yeah, they had trials and I gave in right at the last minute, so I didn't get in. Yeah, it's whatever.
And the code is MNK0F8L94KIRKNH. That is your Steam code for Arcade Spirits.
It was either for this one or the sequel, but it was one of them.
That's really cool. Because you've done some voice work, I know.
Yeah.
So I never have. I thought about it,
and
I made
more in the future. You did some.
Okay, I did one for Jack Billy Presents podcast for Kobe.
Yeah, see.
But it made me want to do more. I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, I thought about trying to get into that world and do some, but I'm too fucking busy.
I understand that completely.
I don't need to add more to my plate.
It's really funny because I was gonna originally bring something up on this episode because you had brought up in a previous episode of Code for a game called Little Orpheus, and yeah, everybody was talking about, oh man, imagine if there was an Orpheus platformer where you couldn't turn around, and I was screaming at my Bluetooth speaker at work, there is! Maddie made it! And then it turned out, I looked it up just yesterday. Maddie was not the one who made Never Look Back. It was actually Terry Kavanaugh, the creator of VVV.
Oh yeah, that's what you're texting me about.
Yeah. I really thought it was a Maddie game because it feels like something Maddie would make.
That's fair.
I can't wait for her next game, Earthblade.
Oh, so is Celeste 64 on Steam?
I think it's an itch.io download, but it's free.
Oh,
It
okay.
should be free. And some
Is
of
it
the
a full
speedrunning, it is like, for a casual run, it's 1 to 2 hours, but the speed run for it is somewhere around 15 minutes or less. They did it at Games Done Quick last summer, I think.
Huh. I use itch.io sometimes, not often.
Not
my go-to. So
yeah, it is on their itch.io for completely free. Windows x64 zip, a Linux x64, and ARM64. Yeah, there's like 5 different download links for this.
Maybe I should try it sometime. We could do a mini on it or something.
Pretty cool. I wouldn't mind trying this at least once.
But they haven't made anything else since then. This just came out in 2024 too, so last year.
So I know Maddie has also made games for the Pico 8 console because the people who made Pico 8 actually do have a console that's like a fit in the palm of your hand mini computer thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of those type of.
What is it called?
I can't answer that question.
Oh God, is it? No, it's not the Pocket Chip. I can't think of what the hell it's called. I'm gonna go insane thinking about this.
Okay.
It's whatever.
All right, I think we should go to Shelf Stacker Box, and I'll go first. I'm gonna put this on the shelf. I had an amazing time with this little game. I came into it with not really any expectations. Like I knew a bit about it. Like I kind of had an idea what I was coming for, but it surprised me how much I enjoyed it and how much I didn't want to put it down. And it really blew me away about how much fun it was. And because this is not my style of game. I probably won't play another game like this anytime soon. I just don't like this type of stuff. But this game really worked with me. I had fun. Like, it was a really good experience. So I'm
glad you had fun with those.
I'm really glad I played it. And I do think, like, I knew a little bit about the transgender allegory that it was going for. I knew a little bit about Maddie. Very, very little. But, just it made me also more interested to try it too because of that. Because I know what people have to go through. I see what our government is like currently and the way the world is. So it can't be easy, I assume. But I'm really glad I finally played it, and I'm glad it's on the show. And yeah. And Phoebe, what about you?
Oh, I'm putting this on the shelf. That's not even a question. I mean, think about how passionate I was throughout this episode. It's got to go on the shelf.
No, of course it is. I mean, I already knew that right when we first started this. So, all right. And I guess I should introduce what we're talking about next week. And next week, you can hear me talk about X-Men Legends for PS2 because I'm still in the PS2 era. In my head, apparently. Yep. Oh, don't worry. I've still been thinking about X-Men 97. I actually wanted to do that last year when that season came out. It's still on my mind to do it.
It's so good.
It is. I just have to make it work on a Saturday. I got to figure out a Saturday when I can make it work because you're one of the people I want for it, and you're only available on Saturdays.
God. I will bring up some dark stuff in that episode.
Fine. It's just, yeah. So, at some point, it'll happen for sure because it's on my mind. And Phoebe, where can people find you at?
I am the Let's Play Princess. You can find me over on YouTube playing a bunch of RPGs right now, as well as one of the co-hosts of Nerds Broadcast. Find me on Twitter and probably Blue Sky, trying to force myself to actually switch over.
It's not bad, TC.
I hate social media, so going from one to another, I've done it so many times, it drives me crazy. It's the next big thing for the next year, and then there's going to be something else, and you're all going to jump to that.
It doesn't bother me with social media. I mean, I don't really I have Blue Sky. I don't do anything with it other than I make my posts for the show that I copy and paste from everything else that I do, and that's it. I don't really interact with it unless people comment directly to me. So, but that's just me with social media in general. Facebook isn't the only thing I really use, and now the Discord.
I hate having 50 accounts on stuff, but I know I have to have 50 accounts on stuff.
I have 2. I have the podcast and I have myself, and that's all. And that's only Facebook. Actually, everything else is just the podcast because I don't care. But I don't really follow Like I follow podcasters just to get the auto follow essentially, because content creators will auto follow other content creators just because. I've noticed that's a thing. So I guess it's just like a courtesy thing. Like, hey, you follow me, I'll follow you. I'll make yourself look bigger than we are.
Yeah. On some websites, that doesn't happen.
It happened on Twitter. That's how most of my followers came from Twitter. I actually I had like over 2,000 people on Twitter, but I stopped using Twitter because Elon Musk is a piece of shit. So, and he's too much Twitter. And Twitter, well, for me, what really got me off Twitter was too many times I was being shown stuff that was very far right from people I do not follow, have nothing to do with, and they would just give me notifications. I'm like, why are you giving me this? Like, I don't follow them.
Elon
No, I know.
You sucking their cocks. That's why. I'm trying to.
I know where it came from.
But
that's fine. But like, that's what made me find. And then there was something too about like anything you post on Twitter was owned by him or something. Like there was some weird stuff that he put in and I decided it was time to leave. That's also what caused the match. And then a certain thing happened in November where I said, fuck Twitter, I'm done.
Yeah, if only everybody had done that.
Well, I mean, a lot of like the big stuff left. It went to Blue Sky and other things.
A lot of artists are still over on Twitter.
Because like you already have you have a base that you built, like you have followers. Like it's hard to, bring that elsewhere. It kind of falls with this game too when it comes to like, with Theo on Instagram. Like I know people who are TikTokers who at the time of this recording, TikTok has been banned in the US today.
Yeah, for the last 24 hours.
I mean, it's not really banned because you can just use a VPN. Like Marvel Snap is banned at the moment too, and I was playing it this morning. I'm in Canada. My computer's in Canada. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, and this isn't gonna last. The TikTok thing might. I don't think it's gonna last either. But it's just like there's ways around everything. People use the internet. I mean, I'm irritated. I can't play Snap on my phone unless I go through the trouble. Which I have a VPN I can easily just put on my phone. But more I want to do maybe. So. Yeah, but no, I mean, I get it. Like, Instagram and all that social media can really be a big thing. And it can be kind of like where it traps you, like how it traps Theo and a crystal. Like, it makes sense. For me, it doesn't really affect me. I just do it just to try to put more games my mom found into the ether. Because my whole idea is that if you put it out there eventually, like, I've had random people like posts from years ago that I post that will find it. And maybe they'll become a listener to the show. That's how I look at it.
I don't blame
But
you.
I also understand why you don't like social media. But I'm also the guy who thought about broadcasting a lot more things in my life, just because. Like, I wonder if this would work if I just started.
I have done that in the past. It fucked me.
Oh, so, but yeah. All right, I don't think I have any. Yeah, I think I should just finish the plugs. Oh, you introduce where to find you at.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this show, it's over 700 other episodes of this podcast. You can find everything we do on Podbean. We do movies, TV shows, games, obviously, comics, all sorts of content. Go check out our giant catalog of content. If you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon for Little Dog. Vote in our Patreon poll. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Definitely go support the show. You get to affect the show. If you want to be on the show, if you want to chat with us, please join our Discord. Free. And we're always having new people join us and talk with us, lurk, whatever you want. Suggest things I'll eventually get to. So please, join the Discord. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Elena at Hell Has Fury. You can still find her on TikTok. Even though I think TikTok's going to come back, I'm assuming. And also, please follow her on Instagram. And check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. He's currently, he's talking Final Fantasy 7 still. So if you go check out his podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Rate and review us. Helps us out a ton. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Go climb the mountain now.